After scouting this area for 3 years and hunting it for 1 year, I've also run trail cameras for 2 years, finally put it all together and have figured out that what the deer are doing is they're sneaking through this greenbrier ribbon of brush right behind me into a bedding area that's down here. So the northwest is this direction, so they're bedding on the leeward side. However, the thermals are the predominant wind direction right now. It's been that way all day. There's basically no wind, and the thermals are coming up this way. So the deer can literally walk into the bedding area with their nose into the wind and bed down. So there's fresh sign here today, and I verified that during the wintertime, all the deer followed this briar line of brush and dropped. And in fact, there were several beds right at the edge of this thicket. And then I found a further one down at the base of the bottom of this small hill, and that was the big one. Well, that big buck is bedded in a way that's going to be tough for me to hunt because there is a tree stand 20 yards from his big bed I found in the snow. So I think the buck knows that the hunter's there, and the buck seems to be just laughing at this hunter. However, whoever set up the stand down there knows what they're doing. They know the big buck's there. They know where the buck likes to bed. The problem is beating their nose. So I'm actually going to be using a parallel type wind. Hopefully they'll be paralleling me just 20 yards or less in front of me, and I hope that the wind will be good for me. And it definitely, I want to be set up on this side here. I'll have about a 10-yard shot or so into the edge of the thicket, but I'm expecting them to come right down there along this thicket here and give me a 10 to 15-yard shot with my recurve. Should be a fun hunt. And when I hunt this spot, I will absolutely hunt it all day because it deserves that. So there's fresh sign here today, and I already picked out my tree. I'm really looking forward to this. And knowing how the hunters come into the area from the parking lot, they will also very likely push deer towards me. So the feed source adjacent to this bedding area is red oaks. There are no white oaks in this immediate area that I have found yet, although I'll keep looking. That is not necessarily a bad thing. I read a post by Steve Shirk, and he said that the bucks where he hunts, that the red oaks are key right off in the early season, because he said that a lot of the bears get to the white oaks first, which I believe that. I've experienced that in the mountains where there's a really nice white oak dropping. If it's in a thick area where there are bears, the bears would just dominate it. In fact, I had one come into me downwind. I mean, he absolutely had my scent, and he was only about 20, 30 yards away. He was close. And he absolutely knew I was there because I know he could have smelled me, and he didn't care. And he sat down and ate his fill of acorns and finally left. He acted like I wasn't there, but he knew I was there. He was a big boar, had absolutely no fear of humans. He seemed to know that bear season wasn't in, and I was sitting there with a recurve on the ground. It was quite an experience. But this technique of hunting a funnel into the bedding area is solid. It's about the best place you want to be in the morning. As long as the deer are actively using the bedding area, it should be really good. And this idea of the deer following this ribbon of green briars, I got that from Alan Altizer, listening to the Stick Boys podcast, and that's a good lesson. The traditional hunters have got to be within 10 yards to have a good chance, and Alan Altizer states that most of the deer he shoots at these days are 7 yards and in. So it's good to be close for traditional hunting, and if you can get close enough to kill them with a stick bow, then that's the ultimate in my opinion. So this should be a really good spot. I spent a lot of time here scouting, and I picked out my tree. I'm going to use a portable stand approach, so that way other hunters won't know where I'm going to be, and just get in here really early and just spend the day and be ready, because the spot is going to be good.